I recently completed all the achievements in the base game of Fallout 4. And by recently, I mean this long ago. Yeah, we can blame that on this pointless piece of paper that I'm still trying to get. And the absolute hell that editing the Elden Ring video put on my PC. But the time has finally come to return to Fallout 4 to complete all of the DLC achievements, which surprisingly, as much as Fallout 3 and New Vegas consumed my life, I never played the DLC for Fallout 4, even though I bought the season pass. Enough of my rambling, let's jump in to find out if Fallout 4's DLC can hold a candle to Fallout 3's. When we last left off in the Commonwealth, our player's canon ending was to side with the Institute for the only reason of having clean running water. Now complete with the Institute and siding with the only faction that has working toilets and water means our character can forever enjoy a clean put, meaning we destroyed the Railroad and the Brotherhood of Steel. Now done dealing with the factions that are almost more annoying than America's current political environment and bringing some semblance of peace to the Commonwealth, it's time to experience the DLC. Starting with Nuka-World, which we can begin by listening to a radio broadcast, and honestly makes you realize that even in the future, amusement parks are still not affordable.
Don't forget to bring your empty bottle of Nuka-Cola to get $15 off at the gate.
Bro, did he say $50 off at the gate? What are they charging out here? Disneyland prices? We can then make our way to the train that will take us to Nuka-World, but only after dealing with the gunners outside and healing this totally helpless man that was attacked by raiders. But be cautious about the gunners attempting to thwart your act of kindness.
Tell me what happened.
Yeah, we'll just do this while there's getting shot at. Hopping on the train, we finally enter into the beautiful land of Nuka-World, which is what I would say if dismembered bodies were the beauty standard. As it turns out, Nuka-World is completely overrun by raiders. Exiting the train, we are put through a maze that they call the Gauntlet, which wasn't nearly as bad as the gauntlet I had to endure in high school if I lost at beer pong. At the end of the Gauntlet, we are now set to face the raiders leader that they call the Overboss in his intimidating suit of power armor. However, just before we face him, a mysterious stranger lets us in on a secret to defeat the Overboss.
You want to win? Like the video and subscribe.
I stashed a weapon in the lockers. Get it.
Thirst Zapper. But has anybody tried mini nukes against him? That's the real question. As intimidating as he looks, the Raiders leader was no match for the godlike power of H2O. Killing the Overboss now has us forcibly take command of the Raiders as their Overboss.
Now that he's actually gone, we've got ourselves a vacancy in the Overboss department. And guess what? You just all I'm at.
How do I quit?
You trust me?
Taken for a ride. This feels awfully reminiscent of all the voluntelling I experienced in the military. Now in charge of the Raiders, we get a more formal introduction to our new companion, Gage, who will be our right-hand man for all Raider matters, and take a small tour to meet all the Raider factions in Nuka-World. The Raider gangs that inhabit Nuka-World are the Bloodthirsty Disciples, the Operators, and the Furries, also known as the Pack. After our introduction, it is now time to reclaim the park for the Raiders beginning at Kittyland, Kitty Kingdom. Where we chase around the ghoul magician Oswald, who we eventually convince to leave the park and stake a claim for one of the Raider factions. Next, we clear out the bloodworm-infested dry rock gulch and make our way to...
Mulligan's mine. It's locked up.
Why does he say it that way? Before we stake another claim for the Raiders. We then travel to the Florida Everglades that's filled with historically accurate gators and meet the local Florida man.
Cito happy you kill monster. Monster hurt Cito and Cito family.
Oh my goodness, it's Harambe's.
This home. This family.
It's then time to help the local Florida man stop the creation of the gators and finish cleaning out the remaining gators before staking another claim for the Raiders. Clearing out the remaining attractions and staking claims for the Raider gangs gives us an achievement.
And if you need my advice and you want me to keep tagging along, you've got it.
The Grand Tour. You may be asking, why couldn't the Raiders just do this on their own? And I simply don't have a good answer for you. Laziness, I assume? Feeling confident after reclaiming Nuka-World, the Raiders are now ready to take on the Commonwealth. Now this next part, I have a massive problem with. Taking on the Commonwealth means the Raiders need to establish their own settlements within the Commonwealth, and instead of Bethesda adding new settlement locations, the only options are the original settlements within the Commonwealth. This wouldn't normally be a problem, but if you are someone like me who's claimed all the settlements achievements, your only option here is to forcibly remove the current settlers for the raiders. One settlement is no big deal, but there is an achievement for claiming a total of 8 new settlements, meaning losing 8 settlements. And did I forget to mention that Preston will also hate your guts? But it's for the content, right? I selected my location for the raiders and headed to the settlement to pay off the settlers and force them to leave. Why not just kill them, you might ask? Because I couldn't bring myself to shoot and kill some pixels. After claiming one more settlement for the raiders, setting them up with some entertainment, and forcing another settlement to give us their goods, home sweet home, we are called back to Nuka-World because the disciples believe they haven't gotten enough love and are now staging a coup. This is exactly why monogamy is underrated. Back in Nuka-World, we team up with the operators and the furries to put a stop to the coup at the Nuka-World power plant. If you're a fan of using grenades, you may want to be careful during this part. What the f... You gotta be kidding me, dude. I don't even know what I did. Right through the heart. And we also finally turn on the power. Yeah. How have these guys been here this long and not figured out how to turn on the power? This officially completes the Nuka-World story and gives the final story-related achievement, Power Play. All that's left is the cleanup of the DLC's achievements. Nuka-World comes with every achievement hunter's favorite type of achievement, collectibles. Collectible achievements normally have me wanting to suck start a shotgun, but this one actually wasn't so bad. The collectibles for this DLC are scav magazines that you can easily find if you do a bit of exploring in the main POIs during the story and in the greater Nuka-World area, and thankfully there are only a total of 5. In order to complete the next achievement, you once again have to find all the collectibles, which for this one is the Nuka-Cola recipes. Thankfully there are only 15 to collect as the game gives you 5 recipes, and just as before, you can find most with a little exploring during the story. With all the recipes, you now have to make all 20 flavors. This sounds easy, but if you're not collecting any of these seemingly odd items required to make them, you might struggle like I did. Got the rum. Where the heck do I get a carrot flower from? Hey, you guys wouldn't happen to have some carrot flowers, huh? You guys got some carrot flower here? Nuka free. Still can't make that one. I need dirty water. All right, that's easy. All right, this should finally be the last one. Nuka free. Beverageer. With all your brand new Nuka-Colas, you can now use them in your quest for Fallout 4's rarest achievement, All Sugared Up, which has you kill 40 Nuka-World creatures under the effects of any new Nuka-Cola. Sounds easy, but if you're like me and don't read the requirements before embarking on this DLC, you may end up struggling like I did. Although I drank the unique Nuka-Colas you can find in this DLC before killing DLC-specific enemies, most of these new Nuka flavors did not count towards the achievement, as it had to be a Nuka-Cola that you create at a mixer. And after completing the Nuka-World DLC, most of these areas will be cleared of the DLC-specific creatures, leaving you to run in circles for hours, chugging a year's worth of sugar and killing what little enemies you can find. All sugared up. Wow, I really thought I was gonna have to grind a lot harder for that. Remember that settlement achievement I mentioned earlier? Well, it's now time to complete it. This is a pretty simple achievement to get. Simply talk with Shank about claiming another settlement and intimidate, kill, or pay off the settlers. You can also make this a little bit easier by having Shank move to a settlement in the Commonwealth. I ended up paying off the settlers at each location, which was pretty costly, and it actually worked out for the better. Oh, bro, there was kids here? Oh, man. Good thing I'm not keeping this save. I feel horrible. Straight up took this place from some kids? After claiming all 8 settlements, you will be rewarded with your achievement and a chest that I will never know what's in it, as I created a save before destroying 8 of my settlements and accidentally saved over this moment. Seriously, what was in it? The second to last achievement was probably worse than any collectible achievement I have done so far. For this achievement, we have to complete 12 quests for any of the Nuka-World Raider gangs. There are an unlimited number of these quests, and they will continue to assign you quests after you complete the previous one. If I had to choose which is the worst type of achievement, a collectible achievement or an achievement where you play errand boy and complete the same task over and over again, I would not be able to answer, even if my life depended on it. As you can probably guess, that's exactly what this achievement was. Errand Boy 4. The Raiders assign you a variation of tasks that can range from putting a collar on someone, which is a little more difficult than you think it would be. No, come sit back down. Where are you going? She'll be back. They always come back.
Black and Nuka Town owns you. Get moving.
Bad move.
Well, that's unfortunate. Gage, get out the way. Or killing someone they have beef with.
Come with me. There's something you need to see.
Okay.
Sure.
The worst part about this is all of these quests are outside of Nuka-World, meaning you have to first travel to the Commonwealth, and once there, the fast travel puts you just outside the train station, and then you have to fast travel to your quest location. Why did they never make it so you can just travel straight to where you want? Oh yeah, that's right. After playing Errand Boy 4 and Loading Screen Simulator while trying not to go insane, I eventually reached 12 completed quests for this achievement. Finally, we are ready for our last and possibly worst Nuka-World DLC achievement. To complete this one, we head into the Nuka-Cade to play some sweet pre-war arcade games. Before we can play the arcade games and earn the tickets required for this achievement, we need to purchase some tokens. Alright, I think that's enough. Nuka-Cade token. Yeah, I think we got enough. With just barely enough tokens, now it was time to begin playing our games. But these games don't reward very many tickets, and with our achievement requiring 100,000 tickets, it was crucial to find a faster way. Thankfully, the Fallout community discovered a method of glitching the hoop shots together and then simply crouch spamming the ball into the hoops while the machines are on to farm tickets. Which I do find it pretty crazy that even after this many years, Bethesda has not patched. I wonder why that is. This method is great, but is still estimated to take an hour to farm the required tickets, meaning I would have to constantly spam the control key for an hour, and my poor little pinky could not take the abuse. So the only logical thing to do is automate the process with some code. I bet you thought I was gonna say plug in a controller, and to that I would say that probably makes a little more sense, but it's in the living room and I'm too lazy to go get it. Originally, I considered automating the entire process using pixel recognition or pixel coordinates to start the machines, pick up the ball, find the right spot, and begin crouching, but I settled for just saving my pinky from abuse. Simulating the spamming of the control key is easy enough with some Python libraries created by people smarter than I can ever hope to be, and with that settled, the only thing needed was a way to run the code without having to click on anything, which I had no idea how to do, but once again, thanks to the internet geniuses, was able to borrow their idea of creating a bat file and a VBS script to run the code in the background, and without making the game minimize. All that's left is to bind the runner script to my Stream Deck, and it's off to the races. Alright, time to test this bad boy out. Is what I would say if it actually worked. Would you believe me if I said I wrote code for a living? A quick fix to our scripts, and it's time to try again. Well, my game froze. Everything just keeps freezing. Is it still running? Okay, I'm just gonna have to restart. Yeah, that went about as well as I expected it to. With some changes to the code now involving a timed loop that will spam the control key, a slight delay between the presses because Fallout can't handle how fast the code makes my character drop their dumpy, and even some threading added in to have simultaneous code run that will act as a timer and end our loop, it was finally time to get our achievement. Hands-free, baby. Hands-free. So yeah, I guess it's time for a montage of this in action. I guess it's also worth mentioning that this took me 2.5 hours to get working for something that would have taken 1 hour. But that's automation, baby. With all our tickets, we can now head back to the Nuka-Cade to redeem our tickets, with the key word there being redeem, something I didn't understand at the time. Oh, eyes on the prize. Oh, goodness, I am an idiot. Oh, I thought it was supposed to be detecting all the tickets I had on me. While these DLCs are in no particular order for this video, Nuka-World was by far my favorite of all the DLCs. The location was unique, filled with unique creatures, and claiming the parks, while time consuming, was a fun experience, as it felt like you were completing an entirely separate DLC within the DLC. While losing settlements, Preston's favor, and being forced to side with raiders did suck, which by the way, there is actually an option to actually help the slaves take over Nuka-World, the Nuka-World DLC was still a fun experience. Our next DLC in Fallout 4 is one that those that have played Fallout 3's DLCs will find a glaring similarity to. Far Harbor is our next DLC, which we can begin after accepting a missing persons request for the Nakinos at Nick Valentine's. Traveling to the Nakinos' residence, we speak with Mr. and Mrs. Nakino about their missing daughter and dig up clues about their daughter's whereabouts. Searching through her terminal, we discover that their daughter has been in talks with some online strangers and now believes that she is a synth and ran off to a place known as Acadia. So if you're a parent watching this, make sure you monitor your children's online activity, or they may end up running off to live in a robot sanctuary. Notifying the Nakinos, they loan us their boat to track down their daughter. The boat takes us to a location known as Far Harbor and unlocks our first achievement for this DLC. Docking our boat, we are greeted by the town leader who welcomes us, but some are not so happy to see us. After our warm welcome from the locals, the harbor comes under attack by the creatures of Far Harbor, and in an effort to earn their trust, we assist in defending the harbor, but the fog in Far Harbor can make this difficult. But a bro just get murked? Oh, I killed him. Oh my goodness, dude. After defending the harbor, we head to the last plank to meet old Longfellow, who looks like the Wish.com version of Father, and will act as our guide to take us to Acadia to find Kasumi. We follow old Longfellow through the fog, where we encounter more of the island creatures and encounter the local druggie. Remember how I said this DLC seemed familiar? If you played Point Lookout DLC from Fallout 3, then this DLC will feel very familiar, except instead of Toothless Hillbillies, we have the Children of Adam, and instead of Point Lookout, we have Far Harbor, which I almost can't tell the difference between the two. After our encounter, we soon arrive at Acadia, an oasis in the fog of the island. Old Longfellow agrees to be our new companion, which also unlocks a workshop in Far Harbor. We need a total of 3 of these for an achievement. Inside Acadia, we meet Dima, who is the leader of the Synth Haven. Talking to Dima, we learn more about Acadia's purpose, and he makes me question my own existence.
Tell me, you came to us. Are you a synth?
I'm a human being, not a
Are
synth.
you sure? I don't mean to question you, but what's the first memory you have? Just a single day, and then waking up alone? We so easily accept what's presented to us.
Dima gives us free reign to explore Acadia, and deeper inside we find Kasumi. Kasumi is convinced that Dima is hiding something and now tasks us with uncovering his secrets, after which she will return home. Hacking Dima's terminal, we are able to quickly uncover his secrets.
Nice.
As it turns out, the citizens of Far Harbor and the Children of Adam used to be at peace, but with the Children of Adam's new leader, they are now at the brink of war. However, Dima's brain is also so massive that he had to leave part of it behind at the nucleus where the Children of Adam and their hostile leader reside. Conveniently, that part of his brain also contains the secrets that could give these new factions the ability to wipe each other out. After discovering the secrets, we report our findings to Kasumi and unlock the achievement, Where You Belong. And we, of course, are now tasked with infiltrating the nucleus to obtain the secrets.
One of you may return
The other
the fold. Will return to Adam.
Richter, this is insane. You can't expect it.
Oh, savage, dude. Heading to the nucleus, we meet with the zealot of the Children of Adam, who directs us to perform their ritual to officially join their cult. Their ritual consists of drinking water from Adam's spring. I've never done drugs, but I imagine this is the craziest acid trip you can ever experience. Well, that's creepy. Bro, is that a death claw? Hello? After our trip, we find ourselves at a Children of Adam shrine. I like to believe I'm at least one level above Window Licker when it comes to my IQ, but this shrine's puzzle proved otherwise.
Needs a password.
There it is, the sacred elements. His table leads within. Dude, why do I feel like it's staring me right in the face and I'm just not seeing it? Oh, there was a marker there the whole time and I didn't even see it. Oh my gosh, dude. Retrieving the statue, we return to the Children of Adam and are officially welcomed in. With access to the nucleus, we can now make our way into the command center where Dima's brain is. Obtaining Dima's memories is a really simple task of clearing a path for these totally not reused Mirelurk hatchling models that will retrieve the memories while defending them from the antivirus. This task alone isn't difficult, but extremely tedious, with each new puzzle requiring a lot of back and forth to complete them. After uncovering all of Dima's memories, we are given 3 different locations to travel to. One of Dima's memories takes us into the Pepsi factory to literally uncover Dima's first secret, the murder of the original Captain Avery and replacing her with a synth. Our next location is in the far northwest of the map to collect the wind farm kill switch code that can be used to shut down the fog condensers that keep Far Harbor safe. The final location is the Harbor Grand Hotel, where we find the exact location of the nuclear launch key, which takes us to the Fringe Cove docks, where the key is actually located. With all the secrets uncovered, we return to Dima and choose not to make use of any of the secrets, resulting in peace, and also rewards us with another achievement. But to ensure our lasting peace, we dispose of the Children of Adam's leader and replace him with a synth. This officially concludes our business between the factions, and we can finally return to our original purpose for coming to Far Harbor. Returning to Kasumi, we convince her to return to her parents, and returning to the Commonwealth, we reunite Kasumi with her family, which rewards us with a disappointing cache of supplies and our last story-related achievement. The last thing to do before moving on to our next DLC is to clean up our miscellaneous achievements. Our first achievement is for unlocking 3 workshops in Far Harbor, with all of them being locked behind quests. We first begin by helping Cassie Dalton extract revenge on the creatures of Far Harbor. Doing so will eventually give access to the workshop at the Dalton farm after killing the fog crawler, but be wary of her settlers acting as meat shields for settlement attackers. Jesus, dude. You're kidding me. Our final settlement is obtained by talking with the Last Plank's bartender and traveling to a location to check on his uncle. After doing so, this gives us access to the workshop, which makes my first encounter with this area make more sense. Why can't I use this yet? I literally already beat the whole story. What's going on here? And gives us another achievement. We then cook up a Far Harbor recipe for our next achievement. Just add salt water. Kind of gross. Not a huge fan of seafood. Whoa. Well, and I'm allergic too, but you know, who's talking about that? Discover 20 Far Harbor locations, kill 30 Far Harbor creatures, and finally complete one of my favorite tasks of collecting all the collectibles in Far Harbor. The Far Harbor DLC may be the Fallout 4 community's favorite DLC, but for me, it's easily my least favorite. Like I said before, this DLC was very reminiscent of Point Lookout, which I liked, but I've very much grown tired of the swampy settings that are covered in fog, especially after Dead Money in New Vegas. The story in Far Harbor was also very bland, as once again, it was just a bunch of factions ready to kill each other at the drop of a hat, and we need to pick sides. It really felt like Fallout's main story all over again, and the entire DLC felt like a copy-paste of Point Lookout. It just felt very low effort overall. Our next DLC is Automatron. We come across a caravan under attack by murderous robots, and after destroying the robots, the only survivor is a robot named Ada, who was a member and friend of the caravan. Saving Ada gives us our first achievement, Mechanical Menace, which I can't show you because this wouldn't be an achievement video if at least one of the recordings didn't corrupt, so you'll just have to trust me on this one. Ada is stricken with grief over her dead friends and seeks to begin an end to the murderous robots now plaguing the Commonwealth by finding someone known as the Mechanist. Ada now joins us as a new companion and tasks us with hunting down a robo-brain. Yeah, these things are exactly what they sound like. To obtain a chip that we can use to locate the Mechanist. Tracking the robo-brain down at the General Atomics facility, we then harvest his chip, and using the new robot workbench, we install it on Ada. Of course, this isn't enough, and we are now tasked with hunting down 2 more robo-brains to obtain 2 beacons that will help locate the Mechanist. Obtaining the first one is easy enough, but the second one requires infiltrating a base of the newest threat to the Commonwealth, the Rust Devils. Inside the Rust Devil base, I first make the greatest discovery you can in Fallout 4. Oh, this is a whole suit Exo-1 power armor? That is insane. I'm moist. And we encounter our robo-brain, Jezebel, who is just so overjoyed to see our player.
Now, how can I put this as simple as possible so someone at your processing speed can understand? In order
wow, that's
to
rude. Striking a deal with Jezebel, we then free her from the Rust Devils and begin to make our way out, but are stopped by a sentry bot on steroids. After dealing with the sentry bot, we then make our way out, but not before Jezebel lets us know how excited she is to be traveling with us.
You really are taking the path of most resistance here, aren't you? Based on my limited experience with you, I estimate a 65% chance of making it out of here. Optimal. An increase in effort could have an impact on the odds.
With the chips obtained, we discover the location of the Mechanist and finish our deal with Jezebel by providing her with a new body. God, that is the ugliest bot I've... It's hideous. Looks like the Hunchback of Notre Dame or something.
What kind of a body were you expecting?
Considering I look like a junk bot that's been hastily welded together by an amateur, I'd say almost anything else would have been better.
That's pretty accurate.
I suppose I shouldn't be surprised, given your limited skill set derived from your equally diminished intelligence.
And as a reward, she then lets us in on the robot's secret.
By my calculations, the easiest way to help a human is simply to destroy it.
Does anyone else feel like this is a foreshadowing with current day AI events? After this, we unlock another achievement. With the Mechanist location acquired, it was off to Fort Strong to face him. You can install the module to infiltrate Fort Strong on any robot, and I realized too late that Ada was the wrong choice. Jesus, how many doors do you need? Oh my goodness, dude.
I'm pleased to see you again.
Oh, welcome back. What do you know? You were dead the whole time. Oh look, Ada's dead again. Oh, here we go, 1,000 doors again. Ada was dead again. What do you know? Oh look, Ada, you were alive for that one. Look, more doors. Okay, that one was kind of my fault. I shot her a little bit. Oh look, Ada's dead again. We finally come helmet to helmet with the Mechanist, who sends a robot army after us, which we make quick work of, and eventually with no options left, the Mechanist is ready to talk and reveal his identity. Or should I say, her identity. You're a girl dragon. Somebody will probably try to cancel me for misgendering her. Convincing the Mechanist of her wrongdoing, she agrees that it's time to shut it all down. We then have our final DLC concluding conversation with Ada, which completes our quest, giving us the final achievement. And we powered down the robot facility. However, we're not quite done with this DLC just yet. There are 2 miscellaneous achievements for the Automatron DLC. The first one is to unlock 10 robot mods, which can be easily accomplished by collecting robot parts from defeated robots. Next up is the most toys, which you can easily complete by slapping 10 mods on a robot that will give you an abomination of a robot. There's not much to say about this DLC. It definitely wasn't my favorite, but I didn't love it either. It was a short one that had a sort of silly story when it comes to the Mechanist and her superhero lines. I didn't show any of this in the playthrough, but seriously, the Mechanist does have some pretty funny lines. The best addition from this DLC was the robot workbench that allows you to build your own robots and use them as companions or as workers in your settlement. Our last story-driven DLC is a pretty short one, which we kick off after picking up a distress signal from a vault. Heading there, we can find some raiders attempting to enter the vault. Our totally authorized Vault-Tec representative is here to help you, which we quickly dispatch and then head inside to meet the ghoulified overseer, Wood. Even after all these years, this overseer is still hell-bent on running the Vault-Tec experiments on people that they had planned before the war. Which, spoiler if you didn't know, Vault-Tec is a pretty messed up company. Before we can get to these experiments, we need to first get the vault in a more settler-friendly shape, so that we can attract our guinea pig, I mean settlers. This is a quick and easy task of going through the incomplete vault, collecting a workshop control board, and installing it in the nearby workshop. Just be careful about deleting entire walls when doing your cleanup. Holy moly. Once you have all the workshops unlocked, you will earn your first achievement. With the vault cleaned up, the settlers will begin flowing in. It may take a minute, but eventually you will find your ideal candidate.
You have some questions.
Okay. Sure.
You just scratch his ass.
Well, I think you'll do nicely.
And be sure to properly dress them for the occasion. With your candidate now having Vault 88 drip, it's time to begin your experiments, which are really nothing too exciting. But be sure to read the notes about what the selected test will actually do to your guinea settler. See you in an hour. Oh no. Oh, he's alive. After completing all your experiments, you will be rewarded by becoming the new overseer and officially owning your own vault. For some reason, the final achievement didn't pop, and after completing the DLC, I realized that it said I completed this achievement years ago. Vault 88 was probably the silliest of all the DLCs. While it is a very short DLC, even shorter than Automatron, it was still a more enjoyable time than Automatron. The story itself was fairly silly and did leave room for some hilarious moments when you were conducting the experiments based on how you chose to run the tests. The coolest part about this is you now have a massive unfinished vault that you can now use. The remaining DLC and achievements are not tied to a story and instead are heavily focused on using the additional items added into the settlement workshop. Our first achievement is a fairly simple one that you need only to display a weapon, armor, and power armor on their respective racks. The next item we need to use is probably one of the most fun ones. While normally the workshop only includes items that are beneficial to your settlement, the contraptions workshop gives you something that is instead beneficial to your amusement. the Pilroy. For this achievement, we need to actually assign a settler to it, and after the Nuka-World DLC, this was an easy choice.
Don't think that the Minutemen will stand by and let you bring even more misery to the Commonwealth. That means shooting at you and your new friends. So be it.
You know what, Preston? Just for that?
I'm on.
Time out. While most of these achievements are trivial, there is one that you may struggle with if, like me, you never bother to collect things such as Mirelurk meat. Because let's be honest, unless you are playing on survival mode, there really isn't a need for most of these items when stim packs exist. But that doesn't change the fact that for the next achievement, I needed to build one type of every creature cage from the Wasteland Workshop DLC, which does require said meats. I'd originally thought this meant one cage from every category, but would soon find out I would actually need to build all of them. Building one from every category was honestly hard enough because of needing specific items that I would never bother to pick up, but having to build all of them was more of a challenge than I could have imagined, because like I mentioned before, I never pick these items up, and I never pay attention to where these particular creatures spawn, which would end up making this really challenging. And after searching through the Commonwealth for hours, I finally consulted a guide. With everything needed finally acquired, we could build the cages. Throw it right there. Hey, Trapper, finally build one of every cage type. My goodness, that took way too long. Now having all the cages, I could easily move on to the next achievement of having 5 tamed creatures, with tamed being the key word. To tame creatures, you need to use a beta wave emitter that turns anything in its range into a beta, including the self-titled Chads. The only problem is this item has some requirements to build it. I've literally been throwing away perks every time I level up just because I didn't know what to do and I didn't think I needed anything else. Oh, this is dumb. I'm not even close to the next level. I had originally thought it was only one perk required to build this because my reading comprehension is not that sharp. I was a Marine after all. But after leveling up to get one of the perks, I would soon realize how dumb I was. All right, now I should be able to build this beta wave emitter. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Now with both perks and our cages filled, it was time to build the emitter and open the cages, which would also prove challenging as I completely failed to build a switch to open them. But even with these emitters, Mother Nature proved to be no match. Can I only... Oh, that's a... Damn, not only did I catch... Alright, this all went... Okay. I'm gonna build another one just in case. I'm building another beta wave emitter just in case. Okay, now we'll see how this goes. Hey, docile. Oh, dude, he took a death claw out. Yo, my boy took everyone out. If you were paying attention, you probably noticed this building in the background of the video. And if you didn't, well, maybe you should pay more attention. Allow me to introduce you to the Thunderdome, complete with an arena and seating for spectators. You may be wondering, why do we care about this? And that's because the Thunderdome is where I will be forcing my high school bullies to fight rad scorpions. The Wasteland Workshop includes arenas that you can assign settlers to make them fight, and surprisingly, doing this is an achievement. You're supposed to be able to assign captured creatures to this, but I was unsuccessful at this, so I instead opted for my least favorite companion, and a companion who had the audacity to steal one of my 17 sets of power armor. I already knew that Bethesda's AI wasn't the best, but this next part really showed just how dumb it is. Oh, okay, I guess I messed this up a little bit. There you go. With their special doors now created, it was time to watch the fight, which really wasn't that exciting. The Wasteland Workshop also includes this bell that is supposed to be able to stop the fight, but it works about 20% of the time, 100% of the time. Yo, stop fighting. Instigator. Okay, it finally happened. Bro, but these two will not stop duking it out now. And our last remaining achievement was to produce 100 objects from builders, which you guessed it, builders build things. This is really easy to get if you just set it to build Vault-Tec lunchboxes, toss 300 steel inside of it, and then wait while it produces your lunchboxes. If you're like me, you'll get tired of waiting and wander off for far too long and completely miss your final achievement. With that, we have finally completed all 84 of Fallout 4's achievements. Overall, Fallout 4's DLC were really not that interesting and really felt like they didn't add much to the game at all, nor do they leave me with the same feeling of joy that Fallout 3's DLC did. And if I'm being honest, I had more fun automating the Nuka-World achievement with code than I did playing all of the DLCs. If you want to see a game that I truly had fun getting all the achievements for, then you'll want to watch this video. And let me know what you thought of Fallout 4's DLC.